Sandeep, good morning, Neeraj here. Now,
Yeah, Neeraj.
could it well happen, Sandeep, that the index stays in a consolidation period because of the uncertainty and not necessarily actual moves happening? There could be negotiations, etc., and therefore individual pockets of strength and weakness would arise. The way IT is correcting so much, despite the fact that the Nifty is largely well behaved, as you said.
So I'm not ruling out that also, but what I'm saying this year is obviously we said that second half will be better than first half, and within first quarter will be worse and second quarter will be slightly better. So with that background, I will say yes, we have seen last 4 years has been extraordinary, and we have been saying that easy phase of bull run is over. But we are still in bull run, but we are in difficult phase of bull run. And to tackle a difficult phase of bull run, your strategy has to be different. It has to be significantly different than what we all did in last 4 years. So that I think the first thing, the mindset has to change. This I have been highlighting for last many quarters now, saying that the biggest risk in India is that our own expectation risk, because we have built so much expectation in last few years, the benchmark has changed. Once you bring down your expectation, then you will find opportunity. When you go back and look for 12-15% opportunity, you will get. The problem is that when you have 40-50-80% expectation and you are unable to fulfill, the frustration comes in, and let us say markets are not performing. But from the current level, I will look for a buying opportunity in select name, and there are enough opportunity available. We have to just be slightly patient and bring down our expectation. I think end of the day, you will be very happy.
Got it. Sandeep, the other question is, I mean, and I think, if I'm not wrong, I heard you say that you will probably prefer domestic cyclicals as opposed to globally exposed firms. Now, the thing is, I mean, just trying to understand, if there is a very large dip that comes into some of these globally exposed firms at a point of time when we are saying that there are going to be negotiations, Donald Trump himself has said that he's open for negotiations if there are out there, right? Could some of the way the dip in the last 4 months gave an opportunity in the month of March, right? Could some of these give an opportunity? There is some incessant punishment being meted out to autos, to IT, etc. Or would you rather not veer down that path right now?
No, the Dheeraj is that if clarity emerges, let's say in 6 months' time, 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, we don't know the timeline,
Sure,
but I expect that in next 1 quarter, it has to settle. So, okay, this cannot go for a long period of time. So you have to look at from Trump perspective, his term has just started. He will also like to settle everything in 1 or 2 quarters so that remaining 3.5 years will be better for him in terms of managing everything. And that's the way I read it. So if we do get a clarity that this sort of tariff has going to come down, or these are sector will be exempt, or these are the new revised tariff downwards, I think we will get opportunity, and by the time you will see capitulative move. Like we were very early to talk about in the month of January that we have cut down our auto exposure, or even we don't have IT exposure with maybe hardly any names we have. So the background was very clear. We were looking at the US market correction. I have said very openly that we expect 15-20% correction in the NASDAQ. Okay, if that is the case, then how you play? Better to move out from such names. But now they have corrected meaningfully. I'm not saying they are close to a bottoming characteristic, which we typically look at. But one day, if it emerges, I think I will buy it. We don't have any love or hate relationship with any stocks. Okay, when we felt it was not appropriate time, we moved out. And if some buying opportunity come and we really see the capitulative move happening in auto or IT, I will be the first buyer.
What about pharma? I'm just going to, Sadeep, what President Trump has said. Trump has said pharma will come at a level you haven't seen before. I'm quoting here. He says pharma is a separate category. Will announce tariffs on pharma sometime in the near future. Pharma tariffs are under review right now. So now 2 things with this, Sandeep. One is the unpredictability of this whole situation. As of yesterday, pharma was the relief sector, right? Because it had been skipped for tariffs. Now you have Trump coming and saying that pharma is under review, and you will see tariffs like never before. And you're seeing, of course, the stocks also react quite sharply. This is the problem with picking sectors. Would it be safer to choose companies which are domestic facing?
No, I agree. But see, we also have to understand the Trump's compulsion also. Okay, making statement is very easy. Okay, Do they have resources? Look at the COVID time, what happened. Special emphasis was giving on the pharma side. Where is the competition when it comes to pharma from India perspective? Hardly anybody. They will not take anything from China. Is there anywhere else for generic apart from Europe where they do have some formulation and certain specific thing? But apart from Europe, nothing is there. So I think US is heavily dependent on India as far as generic is concerned. And we have to keep in mind, you cannot just ignore, and they have their own insurance bills will go. See, ultimately, if prices moves away, tariff come, let's say hypothetical example, I expect at least 10% because that's the way sectoral thing and reciprocal tariff is around 10%. The 10% can be reality. But can this 10% can be passed by the domestic guys? Answer is yes. Okay. They can easily pass it. Now the challenge will come for US because ultimately neither US company will absorb, not even the insurance company will absorb these costs. So ultimately, it will pass to the consumer, and that will pay a lot to the American citizen. And I think Mr. Trump is aware of these. I will still say these are all uh, techniques to settle down the matter. It's a tough bargainer. He will shake you so much that you will come on the table and settle something. So I think it's a part of a narrative. I will not read too much into it unless it happens.